Hi everybody, welcome to another video with me, Dr. Sarah, and today is one of the final videos from my series on CBD or cannabidiol oil. And I know some people wanted to get to the bottom line first to understand what the research says on its efficacy and its uses, but I felt it was necessary to provide a comprehensive understanding first. So this led to a complex discussion of various subtopics on CBD oil. It included precautions, legal restrictions, indications. So I did go over some medical indications a little bit early on to keep you guys interested, and also some of the actions and influences of the compounds in cannabis, not just CBD, and how they interact with the endocannabinoid system, which is an important regulator of many of the body systems in our body. And it's been not well known for a long time until actually it was discovered that cannabis and some pharmaceuticals could modulate the receptors that influence it. I also discussed in my most recent video before this one the entourage effect and how when all the different cannabinoids combine, they actually produce a synergistic effect. And I provided some tables and some research for you. There's a specific article that's one of the most famous that reviews this entourage effect and the terpenes, which are from the essential oils that are in cannabis. So make sure you check that out. I will provide links on the write-up in the notes to this video so that if you missed any of that, you can catch up. So this video, I wanted to once again go into the importance of considering aspects before you go ahead and take any new supplement or medical intervention, what you want to consider as far as how it's going to work in your particular body. So I do that, and then I'm going to end with a quick sneak peek on what I'm going to be discussing specifically regarding some of the uses and what the research says on CBD oil. Okay, so let's get started. I said this in the beginning that I've been around for about over 15 years in the health space, and I've seen many medical, quote, cure-alls and miracles come and go. And some of these, in fact, a lot of the ones that catch on do have legitimate science behind them. And they do have clinical efficacy if they're the right quality and the right brands that are doing their due diligence to actually make sure what's in the bottle is in the bottle and it's not tainted. And I went over into the whole wild west world of CBD, and that also applies to regulations with other supplements. So you always want to make sure that your supplier is a good supplier. So without that first understanding, the studies that we look at following, it'll kind of explain the caveats of why some studies might have found an effect, some might have not. That's one of the factors, right? So efficacy, when they actually test what's supposed to be being tested, is important. And I went over that about CBD. So when they do have a legitimate and evidence base, that means they have an effect, which means if it's not the right thing for you, it can also have a side effect. And this is important to understand because I've already gone over the science of biochemical individuality, right? So that's what happens when your specific genetic makeup interacts with the environment. And that concept is related to how you will respond to those different influencers on your biochemistry. Everyone has their own unique variations in their genetic makeup. I mean, it's kind of similar to the hardware in the computer of everybody is the same. It needs all the similar pieces, but whether it's on the software of a Microsoft or a Mac or what the updated version is and how you're taking care of the computer, very similar to our bodies. There's different variations in our genes that modulate how we process different things, how we metabolize different things. And then based on our lifestyle, these will cause the genes to function in a way that makes them either more effective or less effective. So all of these are influences, and there's a variety of different lifestyle factors, and this is called epigenetics, how lifestyle influences our gene function, right? So it's not just what's there, but it's how the book of life is being read. So this is very important to understand, that just because there's some miracle cure or panacea or something's the hottest thing since sliced bread in the health industry doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for you. Okay, so that's my biggest soapbox, because as a naturopathic doctor and functional medicine practitioner, our specialty is about the person and what will work best for the person, not trying to fit the person to the supplement or trying to make everything fit the tool that we have at hand. We want to know what's best for you. So add that into the complexity of cannabis compounds, okay? So we already took into account that these different compounds have different effects on the receptors. So when you isolate one out of kind of the symphony that nature has provided with you, you're going to get a more intense effect than when you have all the balancing compounds in there, okay? That could be a good thing. That could be a not so great thing if your body doesn't do a great job metabolizing that specific compound. Most likely, overall viewpoint, CBD oil is very safe, okay? But that being said, you have to remember all these different caveats to it, and it's really just hit the market with a vengeance recently. And so I go over the different ways that these cannabinoids hit the receptor sites in our body, and how CBD actually has a variety of different receptors that it hits in a previous video if you want all that science. But keep all this in mind, okay? There's another epigenetic influence outside of how our body handles environmental influences of how we're processed CBD. It's the fact that different things we're taking can also influence CBD metabolism and how our endocannabinoid system is working already. So I linked to an article about how different nutraceuticals and medications can up or down regulate the endocannabinoid system. Now, even though CBD doesn't specifically affect the receptor sites of the endocannabinoid system, it influences them, okay? So this is all the things that I'm thinking about when someone is coming to me asking me about, should I take this, right? And it isn't just for CBD oil. Specifically when I work with women with hormonal issues, mood imbalances, digestive distress, there's a very intricate dance, especially considering all the things that hormones do and how they have to be at a specific balance. And you put one thing in the mix, it can be the one thing that kind of takes a person on a pendulum swing. So again, these are all important things to keep in mind. And one of the reasons, I have an issue with some people just popping and praying and wondering if it's going to work for them, if it's not just a general wellness thing that can bring their body to balance. As a side note, one of the reasons I love essential oils is because they do modulate the mind and body, and they're safe, and they're, when used responsibly, a very effective tool for most people. All right, so the bottom line is your body's unique, it's different from everyone else's, and there will never be one thing that works for everyone. So what are we going to be focusing on? Now, I've already given you a sneak peek on some of the clinical trials for cannabinoid-related medications. So these are some of the other full spectrum effects. If you're considering maybe you thought, okay, CBD oil, maybe I should look at a full spectrum hemp product that contains CBD, but also these other cannabinoids, what would they affect? So I've gone over that and provided a table for that in another article and video. So again, the links and the notes will be provided below this video. I also discussed current CBD medical indications. So CBD, remember, is regulated as a medication. And if it's not legal in your state, marijuana is not legal in your state, CBD oil is not legal, okay? There's a lot of caveats to that. Technically, legality, if you're in a state that doesn't have legality for cannabis, companies should not be legally selling CBD, though they can sell full spectrum hemp now because of the Farm Bill. I've also provided resources and tables how different compounds can synergize, right? So again, this is all in the notes. So looking at all those pieces together, I've already provided you with kind of some points on what CBD oil will be good for. Now, there's no way that I could give you a final article review go through all the literature, though I've been trying and listening to tons of webinars for you guys, for practitioners on CBD. But where, say, turmeric has over 150 clinical trials right now at the NIH's National Institutes of Health website, there's over 500 clinical trials right now with CBD oil. So unless I lose sleep, social life, and stop working, I can't do without that. But I've looked at some really relevant meta-analysis and what some of the experts in the field are saying. I've also found a study of a self-selected convenience sample of about 2,400 people that was done between 2017 and 2018. The results of that said that 62% of CBD users reported that they were using it for top 3 medical conditions: pain, anxiety, and depression. And interestingly, a third of them reported that their medical condition was improved. A third, 36%, a little more than a third. Okay, so these are what I'm going to be focusing on. The relevant research in the area of the brain, the neurology, mood, and pain modulation by CBD in the next video. All right, I hope you're still with me, and thank you for tuning in. I do have a donate button on my website now because I am doing all of this for free. It takes a lot of time, a lot of research. So if you feel called and you want to support my continued time doing this for you guys, I would really appreciate it. You can, there's no amount, and you can do it one time, you can do it on an ongoing basis, but I want to keep it free and advertising free for right now to keep up my website. Because I am actually taking time away from other projects to keep this. It's part of the service that I do, and I feel it's important to get this information out there for everybody. So kind of something that I feel called to do is to get the research that's valid for everybody. So just let that sit with you, and it's cool if you don't, and just putting it out there. Okay, so I will be back. Have a wonderful rest of your day or evening or wherever you may be in whatever time, and I will pop back in. All right, talk to you soon.